Points and promises made during the following program are not those of WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, Clear Channel Communications Incorporated.
This is the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Jamie Meloni.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day holiday. As I was rebroadcasting last Monday a clip, a couple of the guys from the $1 Million Listing Show, if you happen to catch that. This week, got another great show planned for you. We're going to be talking with Jason Rossi, who's a general contractor and owner of Rossi Construction. So you want to stay tuned here in just a little bit and then pick up some great tips on how to select a general contractor and also some tips on just maintaining your home in general. Also on this show, we're going to be talking about Feng Shui in real estate. Interestingly enough, how to use Feng Shui to help sell your home. I'm quite intrigued by this topic as I'm kind of a logical straight line thinker and don't tend to think of Feng Shui as a component to selling a home. So hopefully I pick up some good tips as well to help selling my own properties as well. Have Steve Kodad here. He is the founder of the Feng Shui Cure. So, and please stay tuned to hear what he has to say as well. And also on the second part of the show, we're going to be talking with Kyle Matthews. He's the founder of the organization Because of Ezra. They have an event coming up this Friday, so it's a touching organization about his son and their battle with cancer. And so you want to stay tuned to hear about his story and the event that's coming up this week as well. In studio, got the lovely Stella Giudicelli with me as well this week. Stella, how are you doing today?
Well, you know, Jamie, I am feeling very young today.
Young.
I am 3-day-old as an American.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, congratulations.
Yes, I was born American on Friday at 1:28 p.m. And it's really an honor to be able to say I am an American. Yeah, and it's refreshing to see your excitement in becoming an American citizen, because so many of us take that for granted. But for you, it was something that you had to really work towards, and took a long time, right? How long did the process take? Well, let me think. I've been here for 9 years. I have applied for my citizenship on the day I knew I could. So I was on a green card. And so that was, I believe, in April. And then from there, I went to my interview, and the interviewer could see how much I was excited and how much value I was giving to my citizenship, that it usually takes a month between the interview and the day you give the pledge to the flag. And I skipped the line, and it took me 3 days because I have that much excitement. And I think that that's what he was saying. It's very refreshing. And I think when you're not, and I'm sure a lot of American, and I can see that how much people are excited about me becoming American. But when you're not from this country, and I've traveled a lot and lived in different countries, I really can appreciate
just the value in the citizenship.
And the value, like how lucky I am to be surrounded by American people and to live here. Yeah.
Well, congratulations and welcome to America.
Thank you.
I had an interesting week. I'm a realtor with Kodad Banker. If you're just tuning in for the first time, I specialize in the sale of bank-owned properties. And I'm going to begin a regular segment, I think, on my show, how to know if you're a foreclosure agent or how to know if you're an REO agent. And one of the ways that you know is when you're assigned a new listing from the bank and you go out to the property and the house isn't there anymore. That's happened probably a dozen times or so, and it happened again last week. A new trailer was assigned to me, went out to the property, and it wasn't there. And so if you're ever wondering why you can't finance mobile homes, that's one of the reasons, because you can hook them up to a truck and just wheel them on down the road. And interestingly enough, had to report back to the bank that their collateral was no longer on the property. And, of course, to say goodbye to that listing, and it's nothing more than a piece of vacant land. In the past, they've been torn down. That happens from time to time. Property be condemned by the city, and that's happened at least about a half dozen or a dozen times where you get assigned a listing and you go out to the property only to find that it's been torn down. That you can find the public records, a demo permit or something like that.
So the city can actually go that way and
City of
tear down
St.
the property.
Petersburg is tough on them too. Yeah, we don't have that problem in Tampa.
Right, that's true.
But
I've heard that.
in St. Petersburg, they'll tear them down in a heartbeat.
So they wouldn't try to contact the present owner or the bank, or there's no.
I'm not sure what. I mean, there's a lot of legwork that goes into the process and everything. But with the bank's inventories and all the paperwork and things, I mean, things just get lost in the mix and everything. And in this situation, it was a mobile home, and it wasn't torn down. The guy probably just hooked it up to a truck and wheeled it down to his mom's house, put it in the backyard.
Yeah.
And just took the collateral out from underneath the bank. So interestingly enough, just some of the things that we as in the foreclosure sales business get to deal with. And I've told several other stories, similar to that.
Yes, you have.
And got plenty more. It's definitely an interesting job being a REO agent. We're not traditional real estate agents. And I always have to tell people I'm more of a property manager than I am a realtor. But anyways, just another interesting story to add to my experience in real estate. Want to go over to Dr. Bill Lavender. He is a regular contributor here on the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with a credit update for us. Bill Lavender has over 30 years of experience in financial and credit businesses and started credit restoration services 15 years ago. Bill's program includes analyzing your credit report and creating a master plan for getting you where you need to be and helping with debt settlement, as well as writing letters to collection agencies and ongoing personal help and support throughout the process. Bill is highly recommended by leading banks, mortgage companies, realtors, and home builders. Bill, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing terrific, Jamie. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing great. So what do you got for us this week in the credit world?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about some ways you can hurt your credit score that we normally don't think of. A lot of times we do things without thinking credit's good, and then down the road somebody checks our credit score and it's lower than we thought, and we can't get approved for something, and we don't know why. Obviously, if you don't pay your bills on time, you're going to lose out, or you have serious things like liens and judgments and bankruptcies. But I'm talking about the not so obvious things that pack a punch. So
such as, what do you got for us? I mean, what are some of the things we need to be watching out for them?
All right, first of all, credit card ratios, the ratio of the balance to the debt limit on a particular card is 30% of your total score.
Okay.
Now, because we know that's a fact, if you keep your balances greater than 50% of your credit limit, they penalize you for that.
Okay.
If you max out your cards, it hurts double. So maintain a credit balance of about, I would say 10 to 20% of your credit limit, and don't try to trick it. Don't run your balance up and then try to pay it off by the end of the month. Creditors send information just once a month. You don't know what the date is, and you could very well have a zero balance on your statement and a maxed out balance on your credit report, and you can lose a ton of points. So that's one way right there. You've got to keep your credit card balances below 50%, preferably 10 to 20%.
And if that's 30% of your FICO score, I mean, that's definitely something that people need to be paying close attention to if they're up to buying a home or something else.
50 points out of 850 possible. So if you don't get that one right, you can't have a score over 600.
Right. So what else are we looking for here on improving our credit scores?
Putting your cards on ice. That means you pay the balance down to zero, you didn't close it, and you're just not using it. When those cards are put on ice and they stay there for 6 months or more, they are not factored at all into the credit scoring.
Okay, so if you're not using the card, what if you have a balance and you're just paying the minimum? Is that considered icing or iced credit card? No. So that's still in use, okay?
That's the best way to do it. The best way to maximize your score is to pay minimum monthly payments, not pay your payment off. But if you want to just pay your payment off every month, you can do that. That's not considered icing.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I always found in credit, the people that, live on a cash basis, they get penalized when they need credit because they don't have a credit history. It's just one of the conundrums in life.
That's one of my points. A lot of people take these courses that get you debt-free, but that also means that you don't have any credit.
Right.
I had a guy one time that paid a lot of money to take a debt-free course. He was debt-free for a few years. Then he wanted to buy a home and could not qualify for mortgage because his scores were at 0.
Very good. Well, Bill, I'm up against a break here, but real quick for the audience, how can they get in touch with you to assist them with their credit needs?
All right. Give me a call at my office, 813-655-9451. Go to my website, creditdrbill.com, or contact the Jamie Meloni Show.
Absolutely. Hey, Bill, thank you very much for checking in this week, and you can also find him on my website at tampabayradio.com. Bill, thanks a lot and have a great week.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
All right, if you're just tuning in, you've been listening here to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking with Jason Rossi, general contractor and owner of Rossi Construction, so please stay tuned. Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
It's so important to have good credit, from getting a job to getting a mortgage, even giving your children the care they deserve. Bad credit and credit problems can put your future in jeopardy. So talk to Bill Lavender, Dr. Credit. Take control of your future. Get your credit back on the right track and learn how to keep it there. Visit creditdrbill.com or call 813-655-9451. That's 813-655-9451. If your credit scores are on the floor, call Dr. Credit and watch them soar.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 1179063. You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. If you're just finding my show on the air, you will find me here every Mondays at noon, so I invite you to please tune in as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. I want to go over and bring in my second guest here on the show today, Jason Rossi. He is the president and CEO of Rossi Construction in Tampa, Florida here, and he possesses 27 years of industry experience in both residential and commercial construction. Jason's responsibilities include construction management, sales management, customer service, and business development throughout the Tampa Bay area. In 2010, Jason was inducted in Remodeling Magazine's Big 50. This award named Rossi Construction and Jason as one of the top 50 remodeling companies in the nation. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
the opportunity to be here.
Hey, thanks you very much for coming in. Jason, your company has a long history dating back to 2000, and I want to know a little bit more about yourself and your company.
Sure, no problem. I appreciate you asking. I like to give everybody a little bit of background story on myself. I basically grew up north and was 12 years old. My father was a general contractor and felt it was time that I needed to come outside and start learning what I had to do. I look at it as indentured servitude, but he had another viewpoint on that. But hey, it helped.
Hey, it's always good to go to work early. My dad did the same thing to me, put me to work at age 16.
Very grateful for it. It helped me out a lot with that. But I came down here, went to college in the 90s, got out of school there, and University of Tampa, great school, great opportunity with that, but allowed me to start doing what I went to school with. And during that time frame, I was rehabbing houses as I was living in them, and people in the neighborhoods kept coming up to me and asking me, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that? And lo and behold, I started getting some satisfaction out of it again. Started realizing I was making more money than what I went to college for, and hey, I'm in the construction world again. So I started the business here, as I like to say, in 2000, and I've got a great group of people who work for me, and it's allowed us to do some great projects. We work for people like MacDill Air Force Base, Lightning, Department of Veterans Affairs, Homeless Coalition, and a number of other organizations throughout the area. So,
and how is your company structured? You say you have a lot of employees versus subbing out all the work.
I do. Correct? We have a lot of employees that we do. I always prefer to use individuals with my organization that work for me as opposed to going out and finding a bunch of subcontractors. It allows us to keep the quality where I expect it to be, to do the type of work that I want and have my name stand behind. So it's been a great opportunity. I've got a great group of people that allow me to go out and sell the work that I want to be able to do for our organization, provide a good end result to the people we're working for.
And how many people do you have on staff roughly?
It varies, but on average about 20 people on staff.
20 people. I mean, that's unique because I do a lot of work with general contractors with the bank-owned properties that I sell, and it seems that so many of them just sub out the work to subcontractors.
They do that, and that tends to be a standard for my industry, but it depends on what you're trying to do. There are certain aspects where you may have to sub out because you don't hold all the licenses via maybe electrical or plumbing or roofing contractor or HVAC contractor.
But I'll see some GCs that they don't have any employees and they pretty much just sub out everything. They kind of act as kind of like a central point of contact.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying with that. We'd like to call those people paper contractors in essence because they don't have the people or the means or the staff to be able to do that. Whereas my organization, we have the means and the staff to be able to help anybody from a residential client to a commercial client. And we can take it.
Yeah, and I think that's a big plus because you have control over your employees and you can give them direction versus subcontracting where you have less control, obviously, over the situation.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
And your company has an apprenticeship program for people that are interested in the building industry as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, absolutely. I believe in passing on the knowledge base to the next generation. It takes a long time to amass the information that you need to be able to develop and do this. So we offer high school students and college students the opportunity to come to work with us when they're not in school to help be part of our team and learn the trade that they want to do and maybe have a long, fruitful career in the construction industry.
Now, is this something open only to high school and college students, or is it?
No, it's really worked out best for the people of that age group, but it is open to anybody beyond that. Most apprenticeships, there's it's more of a learning experience than it is a paid opportunity, so it just tends to be the age group and the demographics that works out for.
Oh, interesting. I love it. I mean, do you have certain number of openings at any given time, or?
We're willing to take on at least 2-3 people at each phase over a varying period of a couple of months, so that we can start to progress those people through the knowledge base and then get them acclimated to the people that we work with and go from there with them.
Okay, so it's not a paid, it's pretty much an internship,
It's
correct?
an internship 100%. It's not a paid position.
It's not a paid position, but obviously the value that you get from something like that is immeasurable and something that I would have loved to have jumped on, if I was younger. And
Absolutely. You got to learn somewhere, and the earlier the better.
Yeah, and you're never going to learn how to build a home by reading books. You got to get out there and actually hammer the nails in the walls and everything. So what type of work does your company specialize in, or are you kind of all over the board with?
No, we specialize primarily in remodeling. We do a lot of residential remodeling, and we do a lot of commercial remodeling. Residential remodeling takes us from kitchens, bathrooms, whole house renovations, historic renovations. Commercial world, we're doing store build-outs, tenant improvements, office remodels, retrofits, different animal from remodeling to building new.
Okay. Are you still doing new construction, or do you do that as well?
The new construction we do is custom. So we do custom homes. They're just a one-off product. We won't build the same thing over and over again. So we can take somebody's dream, in essence, what they have in their mind, take it from paper all the way to handing the keys over.
Okay. And I also see on your site that energy management is an important component of your building standards. What are some of the ways that homeowners can save energy costs when building or remodeling their home?
Oh, absolutely. The very first thing and the easiest thing to deal with is to take a look at the windows and the doors. Most energy loss through the house comes to be through the glass. So that would be the first spot that we would want to try and go forward. So good quality, energy efficient window.
So you're saying more energy is lost through the energy than doors versus just the insulation in the attics?
The attic and the insulation can happen too, but the glass tends to be one of the areas we're using a lot. You have a cheap single pane glass window, and you put your hand against it in the winter and the summer, and you can feel the absolute heat or the cold from inside. So we deal with that. We also look at the insulation properties. If we can up that and increase our value into the roof system, we will. But we always recommend we be able to do.
I know when I sold windows up north, double pane windows were the standard up there, but I see a lot of single pane glass down here. I see that a lot.
They're cheap down here. Unfortunately, a lot of single panes.
We didn't sell single pane up there. They were special order only.
They're not special order here, but we do all double pane insulated glass.
Yeah, just a little bit of a difference living up north in the cold versus down here in the heat.
Absolutely.
I guess. Now, your company also promotes a green care program to help minimize costs on our environment. Tell us some of the ways you build a home or remodel a home to green standards.
Sure. We try to follow the LEED practices with that as much as we possibly can, but then also budgets have a lot to do. Unfortunately, in the environment that we live in, it tends to be a little more pricey to renovate it, whether it's a house or an office building with the green practices. But it comes down to simple things like the windows and doors, basically, insulation, the type of solar panel systems. Can we take a water heater and make a solar panel, or can we go in, does the budget allow to actually use some of the power that the house is going to consume? And then we also do things as simple as the waste that we dispose of. We try to make sure that 80 to 98% of everything that we're getting rid of is being recycled back so that we're not wasting. So that's a point system that if you were to look at the LEED system as to how it's developed, so it assigns different values for different things that you put in a house.
The LEED system, that's an acronym, correct? LEED. What does that stand for? What is that exactly? You don't know? I've seen that before. I'm not sure where that comes from, so I didn't know.
The LEED accreditation system, which has helped the organizations, you can become LEED certified in the country, and it basically will give you the ability to assign whether I did this house or I did that project as LEED certified.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. I don't really understand it any much more than what you're saying in terms of how to increase.
And it's just another way to basically make a house more energy efficient or a building more energy efficient. Realistically, we're also trying to use renewable products as much as we can, and we try to reclaim products as much as we possibly can through a project. So we use a lot of bamboo flooring if we can because it's renewable, it grows faster, but we also take some of the wood out of the structure when we're doing demolitions and be able to renew that into the house. So whether it's framing members that we reuse or oak floorings that we took out of an historic house and repurposed them into another portion of the house, we try to basically utilize as much as we possibly can without disposing of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, this is all great to hear. What do you find in our community? Do you find that people actually, more and more people are asking about green?
I think everybody asks, but when it comes down to cost, it tends to be a hindrance on actually following through. So it ends up decreasing the amount of green that somebody would prefer to do to the house.
But people do ask, so it looks like there's
definitely
a lot
an interest.
more interest.
Absolutely.
Than used to
I imagine
have.
there's probably more interest in South Tampa. That kind of
it tends to be the areas, yes, because it has more of an impact in that.
And I think my 7 years in real estate, I've seen a growing demand for green homes, and we've seen a couple of green developments that have come to the market in the past several years and everything. So it's a growing demand out there. It's definitely a niche market for the right builder as well.
Absolutely.
So some great information, Jason. Real quick, got to head into a break here, but how can people get in touch with you off air?
Off air, you can contact us at jrossiconstruction.com, or you can contact the office at 813-436-0177.
Okay, what was that number one more time?
813-436-0177.
And you said jrossiconstruction.com?
jrossi at jrossiconstruction.com.
Sounds like a plan. Jason, thank you very much. A lot of great information there. And, if you are in the market for remodeling your home, Rossi Construction is your go-to company here. So reach out to them. And if you didn't get his information, I'll have him up on the TampaBayRadio.com website here after the show so you can get his information. Or you can always just shoot me an email, Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking with Steve Kodad about Feng Shui in real estate. So you want to hear, stay tuned for that and see how you can improve selling your home with some of these Feng Shui tactics here in real estate. So again, you're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
Ask the Doctor, hosted by Dr. Michael Lang of the Lang Eye Care and Nutrition Centers, can now be heard twice every week. Be sure to tune in Saturday mornings at 9 and again at 6 p.m. on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Dr. Lang is a board-certified optometric physician and certified nutritional specialist who has been helping radio listeners since 1993, and he's ready to answer your questions too. If you are concerned about your vision or if you're looking for nutrition advice, then ask the Doctor. Saturdays at 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
At the Home Depot, buy one or more pallets of GAF Royal Sovereign 3-tab shingles and save up to 20%. Let's raise the roof but lower the cost with bulk pricing on GAF, America's #1 shingle. featuring advanced protection technology. This is worth shouting from the rooftops. Let's do this. Up to 20% off one or more pallets of select GAF shingles. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through September 17th, U.S. only. See store for details.
Looking for high-quality supplements, a knowledgeable staff, and affordable prices? Visit Gulf Coast Nutrition, located in Palm Harbor at the corner of Alternate 19 and Alderman Road in the Publix Shopping Plaza. You'll find all your favorite brands like Renew Life, Doctor's Best, Nature's Way, and many, many more. You'll also find your favorite sports nutrition supplements, all at competitive prices. Gulf Coast Nutrition offers nutritional lab testing and many physician brand supplements, such as Zymogen, that you won't find in other supplement stores. Be sure to sign up for the free rewards program, available in-store at the corner of Alternate 19 and Alderman Road, or online at gulfcoastnutrition.com. Call 727-754-2900. Ready for a healthier you? Listen to Gulf Coast Nutrition with Dr. V and Brenda B to find out what supplements may be right for you. Gulf Coast Nutrition with Dr. V and Brenda B. Every Tuesday from noon until 1 on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Need AC? Call Simpson Air, the coolest guys in town. Log on to thecoolestguys.com.
This report is brought to you by SunPass. Effective September 5th, the Veterans Expressway no longer accepts cash payments. SunPass is the best way to pay. SunPass reps will be at 3M Scott locations September 9th, 10th, and 11th to open accounts. Go to sunpass.com for details.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, the interstates are in good shape at the time. 275 and I-4 moving well through the downtown interchange. No problems for you across the Bay Bridges. Reports of delays in both directions of Gun Highway, especially southbound from Tarpon Springs Road into Van Dyke Road. And minor delays in Pasco with an accident along eastbound State Road 54 at Starkey Boulevard that has a travel lane blocked. See a problem on the roadways? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line at 866-545-9595.
1250 Winds Weather Center forecast. Still seeing those showers hover off the coast of the Bay Area, kind of grazing the western coast of Pinellas County near Clearwater, Largo, the Berry Islands there as well. Not much on shore as of yet, but we will see more showers and storms pick up throughout the afternoon. Rain chance 50%. Upper 80s for the high today. Cloud cover, a little bit of sunshine here and there. Lows in the mid to upper 70s. Expect some showers through the evening and overnight also. Tomorrow, same forecast. Then we'll see temps go back into the lower 90s by Wednesday, and rain chance down to about 40%. Markets today, Dow's off 16, NASDAQ up 4, the S&P index off 5, down to 17,120. 1250 Wins, WHNZ.
You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. If you're finding me on the air for the first time, I invite you to tune in every Mondays at noon as this show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. I want to go ahead and bring on the second guest here for the show, actually my third guest since I had a call in at the beginning of the show, Steve Kodad. He is a former multi-million-dollar realtor with over 20 years of experience. Steve Kodad owned a 30-plus agent real estate company up in Charlotte, North Carolina. He started using Feng Shui to sell his homes about 12 years ago and was so impressed that he sold his real estate company and got certified as a Feng Shui consultant and left real estate and started the Feng Shui Cure. His company evaluates homes in Southwest Florida and trains individuals and organizations on how to use Feng Shui. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Steve, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background in real estate.
Well, believe it or not, I started in New Jersey. I was a part-time real estate agent for a year or two while I was teaching and coaching there. And then when I moved to Charlotte, I continued teaching and coaching at that point and then got into real estate. So in 1990, I became a licensed realtor in North and South Carolina.
Now, you say teaching and coaching. What did you teach and coach?
I taught mathematics.
Okay.
Hopefully that doesn't turn everybody off in here. And I was a varsity basketball coach.
Okay, interesting. So many of us, have an idea of what Feng Shui is. I myself have a general idea, but I really don't understand what this is. So elaborate on what Feng Shui is as well as a brief history of it.
Sure. Feng Shui stands for wind and water, the two words. Feng is wind, Shui is water. And those are the two most prevalent ways of moving energy around our planet. And Feng Shui, in a simplistic definition, is the art of placement. But Feng Shui is an awful lot more than moving your couch or where the bed goes. And that's what intrigued me about it. But it got started in South China depending on what book you read, maybe 4,000 years ago. And I think of it as an environmental science. I don't think of it as a philosophy. I think of it as an environmental science that happened to work and has been continued to be worked on and improved over the years. There are many, many schools of Feng Shui, and that is sort of confusing to a lot of individuals, but they all pretty much follow a lot of the same techniques.
So how did you first decide to promote Feng Shui in one of your listings? What happened?
Well, the first listing that I was involved with Feng Shui actually was vacant, thank goodness, probably. Mm-hmm. And I brought some items from my house, much to my wife's displeasure. And so I actually set up the home this way. The home had been given to me because it had failed with a couple of other agents. And that weekend I did an open house and sold it.
So what are some of the things you do inside the home to enhance its appeal with Feng Shui?
Okay. Well, Feng Shui has an awful lot to do with the five senses, and so you're actually using things like particular aromas, but you're trying to get a particular feel in that house. And so to get a particular feel, you do move things, certainly, but you try to improve the flow, you try to take care of clutter, and you try to take care of certain situations that possibly don't seem to get to a conscious matter. It's more of a subconscious thing, because 95% of what happens around us, even right now, never gets to our conscious. And if it did, probably our heads would blow up. But that 5% that gets there, is of course very important for trying to sell a house. So Feng Shui actually gets you to the point where some of the things that are more important gets into your consciousness.
Okay, so how does this work? You have, I guess, a consultation, and you go to the home with either the seller or the real estate agent. Take us through what a home consultation entails.
Right, I'm hired by real estate agents, but I'm also hired by, of course, the homeowners. And the first thing that I do is that I sit down with them and I try to understand exactly what they're trying to achieve at this point. And everybody has different ideas of what they really want. If they want to sell their house, that, of course, is one idea. But we sit down, I get an idea of what's going on, and then I take 2.5 to 4 hours, depending on the size of the house, to walk around and try to take notes and take photographs at this point, because a lot of things I might forget myself at this point. So it takes me a while. I then do a summary at this point, before I leave, with the homeowner, giving them some ideas of how to get started. I then go back and I take about 48 hours to write up a report, and I email the report to him, and then there's continuing discussion at that point.
So is this sort of like staging where you have to bring in certain items, or can you a lot of times just use a person's own decor to establish Feng Shui?
Well, that's the neat thing about Feng Shui. You do not have to bring in a lot of expensive stuff. In some cases, you take out a heck of a lot more than you actually bring in. So it's very inexpensive, and the whole idea, maybe probably the most difficult thing for a homeowner might be to paint a room or two. Mm-hmm. And so color is a big aspect of the whole thing. You're trying to balance what's called the 5 elements right up front, and that creates a more harmonious feel for us as human beings. So sometimes it's just changing out certain things, but usually they have most of the items available. I usually don't have to bring in too much. I do kiddingly tell my students that I probably at one time owned more red pillows than anybody else in the world, but that was about it. Mm-hmm. I didn't have an awful lot of inventory, which is, of course, a very nice thing. So changing out particular accessories and maybe painting a room or two was sometimes all I really needed to do.
Now, what were some of the techniques that worked best? Is painting the room some of the most simple techniques that you used in Feng Shui?
Right. I mean, I have worked with builders and who had specs that were having trouble, track homes that were having trouble moving them. And so all I would do is try to get away from having it maybe being all beige or whatever, and trying to break it up in where certain colors were showing. I always work on the master bedroom, for example. The master bedroom is very, very pivotal in Feng Shui, as is the kitchen. And so often I'd start off by asking, is it okay if we go ahead and paint a couple of rooms to create a difference? And landscaping is a very big part of it, too. Yeah, the curb appeal is very, very pivotal, not only when somebody pulls up, but it's also, as you know, as a real estate agent, it's pivotal on the internet nowadays. Mm-hmm. Because people are, 90% of the time, they're finding their own homes just by going through home after home after home. And you need to catch them. You need to catch them within those first 2-3 seconds so that they'll explore that home more. So color is a big aspect of it. And so
it's interesting that you say, because with the banks, when we repaint the homes, they always just paint them to one neutral color throughout. Right. So you're using a specific color pattern specific to that home, then not just a neutral color throughout, then you're saying?
That's correct. One of the theories in Feng Shui is something called yin-yang. And there are certain colors that are more yin, and there's certain colors that are more yang. The colors that are more yin, the adjectives for yin are more inward, sleepy, quiet, cold, and all of those things you want to represent in particular aspects of the house so that it registers with the person when they walk in. So if your bedrooms are coming off as yang, it's very conceivable that those bedrooms will not register the way they should. And so anyway, some of the colors, to answer your question, would be like sage greens and particular blues. And so there's a particular part of the color wheel that you'd consider more yin, and the other part would be more yang. And you have to be careful where you use your colors.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've written 3 books on this topic as well, correct?
I'm working on my third book.
Working on the third. Yeah. What are the first 2 that you have on the market right now?
Well, the first book was published in 2006. It's called Feng Shui for the Real Estate Agent and the Homeowner Too. And the second one is Sell Your Home Within the First 4 Months using Feng Shui.
And is this something that you see a lot of demand with your services? I mean, are you getting good response from the marketplace for consultations for this?
When I first moved down here, I had to start all over again. I was doing extremely well up in the Carolinas and through into Virginia, into Georgia and stuff. So I've had to start my business all over again. And I just got started about a year ago, and it has picked up considerably, yes.
Very interesting. And I mean, you talk a lot about the 8 moments that are most impressionable when selling a home using Feng Shui. I guess these are in your book, correct?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on,
Sure.
Give me one of them here real quick. We're hitting up against the break, but give me something of value there.
Well, the first one is curb appeal. So we've already mentioned that, but that's a very, very pivotal one. Second one seems to be somewhat trivial to people, but it's the walk from the car up to the front door. It has to be passed in creating an awful lot of enthusiasm and excitement for the person. The next one is at the front door. Very, very pivotal in Feng Shui. The front door is the primary place for energy, or what is called qi, to get into the house. Mm-hmm. The first time inside the house is the foyer. You're taking a look around for the first time. Then the next one is the room of first impression, which is usually to the right, because most people are right-handed. And then the next one is flow through the house, the general flow. And then there's the 2 most important rooms, which is the master bedroom and the kitchen. Mm-hmm. In Feng Shui, those are extremely pivotal. Yeah,
but the kitchen is obviously the big selling point. It's interesting that you say about, people going to the right. I mean, it's one of the things I always, whenever I'm going to an amusement park, I always go to the left because it seems like everybody always goes to the right. And I can always remember that tip about going to an amusement park.
Where can we buy your books?
Well, they are located certainly on Amazon at this point, and Barnes & Noble has them also.
They have, here in Tampa.
Some great information. Got to head into a soft break here, but Steve, real quick, how can people get some more information on the Feng Shui for real estate?
Well, my website is www.thefengshuicure.com. That's just go on there. You're going to find my email address on there and my one and only cell phone number.
Very good. And if you didn't catch that information, I'll have him up on the TampaBayRadio.com website here after the show. Steve, thank you very much. A lot of great information. I'm sure you've got a lot more. We just don't have the time to cover it all. Okay. It's a big topic.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins, WHNZ. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking with Kyle Matthews, founder of Because of Ezra. So please stay tuned. A lot of great information here about this organization.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 1179063.
It's so important to have good credit, from getting a job to getting a mortgage, even giving your children the care they deserve. Bad credit and credit problems can put your future in jeopardy. So talk to Bill Lavender, Dr. Credit. Take control of your future. Get your credit back on the right track and learn how to keep it there. Visit creditdrbill.com or call 813-655-9451. That's 813-655-9451. If your credit scores are on the floor, call Dr. Credit and watch them soar.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
You're listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show with local expert Jamie Meloni. Now, here's Jamie.
Hi again, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned in to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. And again, you'll find my show on every Mondays at noon, so I invite you to please tune in as this show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. I want to go and bring on my last guest here for the show today, Kyle Matthews. Kyle and Robin Matthews founded the Because of Ezra organization in 2011 after losing their first son, Ezra, to neuroblastoma cancer in 2010. Ezra was just 800 days old when he passed, and his joy and battle have since inspired thousands to get involved with supporting a cure for childhood cancer. In 3 short years, the Matthews have grown Because of Ezra to a national presence, working to fill some of the large gaps in pediatric cancer research funding and focus on these solid mass cancers. Their goal is to raise money to support relevant research and clinical trials with physicians and researchers who can help make a difference in survival today. Since 2011, over $300,000 of research has been funded through Because of Ezra. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. Kyle, tell us a little bit more about Ezra and your organization.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, good job on pronouncing neuroblastoma.
I practiced it last night for a while.
All right, I figured. Yeah, so my wife and I had Ezra in 2008, and in 2009 he was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. And like most people, probably we had never even heard of the word, but it's the most common cancer in infants, and it's only got about a 40% cure rate. A big problem is 70% of those kids relapse, and that is what happened with Ezra. And at that point, they basically told us, pick a trial. They didn't know what to do. There's no cure, and it's really just because of a lack of research, and that's why we founded Because of Ezra is to focus on funding research.
Now, what is neuroblastoma specifically? What is that affecting?
Neuroblastoma is a cancer of the nervous system, and so it's usually a tumor, a solid mass tumor, and affects either the kidney or somewhere on the nervous system.
Okay, and so when going through this unfortunate experience, what were some of the gaps in the research that you saw and inspired you to found this organization?
Well, that really was the biggest issue is that there wasn't anything for us. As soon as Ezra had relapsed, like I said, the doctors literally just said, pick a trial. They only knew of a couple, and those did not have very good results. And so really there wasn't enough going on of people actually focusing on how to cure neuroblastoma, how to stop relapse from happening. That's something that we're really working on, is stopping that relapse from happening. So yeah, there are a lot of organizations that do really good about helping during treatment. You know, we got lots of hats and gift cards and movie tickets and all these things to enhance your life during treatment. But at the end of the day, the research wasn't there to keep Ezra alive. And that's really what we founded on. And it's what we do, it's just research. That's what we do.
So Kyle, I've actually, as I just showed you, I just put, I changed my profile picture on my Facebook to mentioning the National Cancer, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month of September.
Right.
And my comment on there, let me know if that's really what's happening, is that the awareness that I wanted to promote was that there is less research funds going to childhood cancer than adulthood cancer, because the rate of cure is lower for the kids because their cells reproduce a lot faster. And so it looks like the gap would come from that actually most of the funds go towards curing adulthood cancer. Is that something that is true?
The one of the biggest problems is that childhood cancer in general in the U.S. has 15,000 diagnoses annually, and that's over all 12 kinds of kids' cancer. When you look at adult cancers, there's many times that, lots more diagnoses. And so to bring a drug to market obviously takes an incredible amount of money. So a drug company is not going to do research on a childhood cancer drug because it will never, ever be profitable for them. There's just not enough patients.
It's tough to hear.
Yeah, it is. When you give to some of these big organizations like the American Cancer Society or even NIH, which is a federal thing, that's your tax dollars, it is literally 1 to 2% of that is going to all childhood cancers. So interestingly enough, a majority of childhood cancer funding is parent funded. So you'll have groups like ourselves, and across the country there are other ones similar who are doing all of the funding of these trials. And it can be cured, and it's just a lack of attention. And so that's why we're trying to shout as loud as we can and just let people know about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the term pick a trial. So you're saying they just gave you a couple of paths to try, and you're basically just hoping one of them worked or whatever. Is that correct? How many different trials were available or pathways you could try?
It'll vary depending on what doctor you speak to, but the doctors that we spoke to only knew of a couple, and so they told us those, and we wound up doing a lot of research on our own and finding a few others, but there wasn't a lot. And just in the 3 or 4 short years that we've been doing this, we've seen a big increase in that, and we really have partnered with a lot of other incredible organizations, families that we've met, passionate people that are making a difference to see more of these trials open up. One of the things that is kind of a foundation for us of what we do is it needs to be something that can come to trial within 6 months or less. We don't want to fund something that 10 years from now may have an effect on something. We want to do things that are changing the story for families today.
Now, your fundraising efforts and accomplishments are, very inspiring. Tell us more about some of the ways you've grown Because of Ezra from a local organization to a nationally recognized organization.
Yeah, thank you. We started here in Tampa in 2011, and we've had a pretty amazing group of supporters. Our board is across the country. So we did our first fundraising effort in Los Angeles in 2012, and that's our big annual event. It's called Karaoke for the Cure.
Yeah.
So what we do is we actually have karaoke with a live band. So instead of actually having a machine and you go up there with the machine, we fly in a band from Seattle. They know 500 or 600 songs. And it's something that's a little more fun than a typical gala dinner, that kind of thing. So we try to have an enjoyable time, and that started in Los Angeles, went to Tampa, and this year we'll be in Vegas as well. So
I think it would be particularly fun if Jamie's singing there.
Yeah, only if I have a few drinks.
Are you going to be singing? Because I know you're going.
No, I'm not a singer. But yeah, I'll definitely be there. But yeah, elaborate a little bit more. If you're watching the streamcast on live, you'll see an ad up there for the event. But again, this is this Friday, correct?
Yeah, in Tampa, it's this Friday at 6 to 10 p.m. It's at the Orpheum in Ybor City. So you'll be able to come out there and have a good time with the band. It's an open bar, $75. So we feel like it's actually worth what you're paying, but it all goes to support childhood cancer research. So there's nothing else you should be doing on Friday. No parties with your friends.
Karaoke for the Cure this Friday at the Orpheum in Tampa. And you said it's a $75 admission fee, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We're giving away 10 tickets a day too. So if you're on our website or our Facebook or Twitter, you can see those links to get some free entries.
Okay, and you've done this in the past too, correct? This is your second or third?
Yeah, this is our third year. Next year we'll be in LA, Vegas, and Tampa. So we're across the country.
The tickets are to purchase in advance online, or can people just go there and purchase the ticket on the day?
Either way, yeah.
Either way.
You can purchase in advance, or you can just walk right up to the Orpheum on Friday and we'll be ready for you there too.
Okay.
And which band is coming in from Seattle here?
They're actually a band called Rockaroke. They've been doing live band karaoke for 12 years. These guys are the original folks that did this. They do 300 nights a year up in Seattle. They do a lot of corporate events and Microsoft and that kind of thing. So this is all they do. They know over 500 songs, everything from Elvis to Nirvana to Justin Bieber.
Sounds like an interesting event. You said you're from the Seattle region too. You said you were in music in the past before. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I grew up in Seattle in the 90s, so I was an alternative rock kid. And actually for a couple years, that was my full-time gig, and gave that up for, computers now. I'm a technology guy. But we came here in 2005 to Tampa, and we still go back to Seattle every year. But this is home now.
For any of the 80s rock guys, listening to you right now, they're probably cursing at you since the 90s rock killed the 80s rock scene when Kurt Cobain happened to come on the scene in the 90s. Interesting time in music. Probably the last highly influential band that we've seen, Nirvana. Going back to 1991 and everything. So, how's the Seattle music scene now? Is it still a pretty happening alternative scene? You don't see much coming out of there like we did in the 90s.
Yeah, I think it's actually still a pretty good scene. There's not you don't get alt rock out of there, but they're focusing a lot more on folk, and Macklemore's out of Seattle, so a little hip hop going.
Yeah, and how long did you play? How long were you involved with the music scene?
I've been playing for 16 years. I still do coffee shops, but I was a couple years that I did it full time.
So you're going to be hogging the mic this Friday on the karaoke event, right?
I might do a duet with you. Yeah. If you
got any original numbers you can have the band play for us at the event?
No,
nothing original.
It's all karaoke, all hits.
Very good. So real quick, Kyle, before we go off air here, how can people get in touch with you and your organization off the air?
Yeah, check us out on the internet at becaseofezra.org. And we're also on Facebook and Twitter as well. So
can you spell Ezra
online? Huh?
Ezra?
Because of Ezra, EZRA. So because of Ezra, EZRA.org.
All right. Kyle, thank you very much for coming on the show. A lot of great information and a very touching story and organization as well. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And again, you'll the Karaoke for the Cure this Friday, September 12th. At the Orpheum in Tampa. We'll have some information up on the TampaBayRadio.com website after the show as well. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show here on 1250 Wins WHNZ. And again, you'll find me on every Mondays at noon. So I invite you to please tune in as my show aims to become your information source for the Tampa Bay real estate market. I hope everybody has a great week, and get in touch with me off the air through my website, TampaBayRadio.com. And you can reach out to me via email, Jamie@TampaBayRadio.com. I will see you all in here next Monday at noon, and have a great week.